I never thought I'd wake up in my mother's body, staring at my own reflection in the cracked vanity mirror of our old family farmhouse, her manicured nails, my nails now, clutching a vial of glowing blue serum that she'd hidden in the barn for decades. The betrayal hit harder than the disorientation. She dosed me with it during that reconciliation dinner, swapping our souls in an instant to steal everything I'd built, all so she could hand it over to my golden boy brother on a silver platter. And in that moment, as her heart raced with my stolen youth, I whispered to the empty room, "You wanted to play God? Fine. But hell's got no mercy for family frauds." It started 6 months ago, back in the sticky heat of a Kansas summer, the kind where the air shimmers like a bad dream over endless cornfields. I'm Athena Hale, 32, the black sheep of the Hale dynasty, or what passed for one in our crumbling corner of the Midwest. Dad was a high school principal who died of a heart attack when I was 20, leaving behind a widow with a gambling habit and a son who could do no wrong. Mom, Evelyn, had always favored Ethan, my brother, the football star turned failed realtor who blew through his inheritance on crypto scams and bar tabs. Me? I was the grindstone daughter, the one who clawed her way to a law degree at night school while flipping burgers, then bought back the old country house, our family seat, the one with the wraparound porch and the creaky swing where Dad used to read us Twain, using every penny for my corporate gig in Kansas City. The house wasn't just bricks and mortar. It was my anchor. 20 acres of rolling hills, a red barn sagging under ivy, and that ancient oak out front where I'd buried my first dog. I'd sunk my savings into restoring it after Mom tried to mortgage it for Ethan's business ventures back in 22. The bank laughed her out, but not before she racked up liens that nearly cost me everything. I fought the paperwork tooth and nail, won in probate court, and turned the place into my sanctuary, a freelance legal consulting haven where I handled estate disputes for folks too broke to afford the big firms. It was mine legally, emotionally, the one thing that screamed, "I survived you assholes." But family, that toxic American export of blood thicker than common sense, has a way of circling back like a bad check. Ethan called out of the blue one Tuesday, his voice all honeyed charm over the line. "Hey, sis, Mom's in a bind. Cancer scare, false alarm, thank God, but the medical bills. And my startup's about to blow up. We need the house. Just temporary collateral. You'll get it back twofold." Lies, of course. I knew because I'd seen the emails hacked from his cloud. Mom's idea. She'd confessed once after too much boxed wine, plotting to forge my signature, sell the deed to some Wichita developer sniffing around for strip mall. Deep betrayal? Check. They'd pin the fallout on me, the ungrateful one who'd abandoned them, while Ethan played victim in some tear-jerker deposition. I drove out that weekend, the highway blurring into golden wheat waves under a sky bruised purple by storm clouds. The farmhouse loomed like a guilty secret, porch light flickering as I pulled up. Mom was in the kitchen, apron dusted with flour from her famous apple pie, weaponized nostalgia, and Ethan lounged at the table, nursing a beer, his guts spilling over his belt like an accusation. "Athena, baby." Mom cooed, hugging me too tight, her perfume cloying as cheap bourbon. "We've missed you." Ethan grinned that shark smile, the one that landed him wives and bailouts. Dinner was a minefield. Small talk about my city life, jabs at my singledom, and then the pitch. "It's for family," Ethan said, eyes gleaming. "You owe us, ADH. After all we've done." Owe them? The laugh bubbled up bitter as bile. They'd done jack shit except leech. Dad's will had left me the house explicitly, his way of saying, "Protect this for yourself, kiddo," but Mom had contested it, claiming undue influence from my feminist brainwashing. I'd shouldered the legal fees, the emotional gut punch of testifying against her in court, all while Ethan partied through his share. And the secret they'd buried? Deeper than the foundation. Turns out, Dad hadn't died of natural causes. Mom's gambling debts had drawn a loan shark, low-rent mob from Tulsa, who roughed him up. The heart attack was cover for a beating gone wrong. I'd found the coroner's addendum years later, tucked in Dad's old desk, but confronting her would have shattered the fragile piece. So I carried it, The crime she pinned on fate, the mistake I gambled on forgiving. That night, after pie and forced laughs, Mom poured the wine. Special vintage, she said, from a Napa trip she'd never taken. It tasted off, metallic under the tannins, but exhaustion from the drive dulled the warning. We talked late, her eyes misty as she reminisced about Dad. Ethan snoring on the couch. You're so like him, Athena. Strong. But strength without family. It's lonely. Then the room spun, a vertigo whirlpool sucking me under. Blackness. I came to in silk pajamas that weren't mine, the vanity mirror reflecting Mom's face, 61 but Botox smooth, hair a silver bob, eyes wide with my own panic. My hands, her hands, trembled as I touched the glass, feeling the unfamiliar sag of skin, the ache in joints that weren't arthritic yet. Downstairs, my body, Athena's body, stirred coffee, Ethan's arms slung casual around my shoulders. Morning, Ma, my voice said from my lips, syrupy sweet. Horror clawed at my throat. This wasn't a dream. It was violation, soul rape. The vial in the drawer confirmed it. Faded label, Eternal Youth Exchange, Dr. Harlan Voss, 1987. Mom's scribble, for emergencies only. Voss, that quack psychic surgeon from Sedona who'd peddled body swap elixirs to desperate housewives in the 80s, before the FDA shut him down. Mom must have hoarded it, waiting for her emergency. Me, the obstacle daughter blocking her son's payday. The serum swapped consciousnesses for 72 hours, reversible with an antidote she controlled. But in her body, I had access to her secrets. The safe in the attic with forged docs, emails to the developer, Athena's signature pending, push the price, and a hidden ledger of Dad's accident payoffs to the shark.
Raggegnited, pure kerosene fiori.
They thought they'd won, puppeteering my life to sign away my home. But I was Evelyn Hale now, and Evelyn had pull, old money connections from Dad's side, a Rolodex of realtors and judges who'd owed her favors since the 90s. Controversial decision one. I'd play along, accelerate the sale, but on my terms. Let them think Mom was cracking under pressure, desperate to bail out Ethan. By dawn, as Athena, Mom in my skin, prepped breakfast, I slipped into town, her pearl earrings glinting like war paint. The realtor's office in Emporia smelled of stale coffee and desperation, fluorescent buzz humming like a lie detector. Hank Whitaker, paunchy in a polyester suit, lit up at Evelyn's call. Mrs. Hale. Heard about the listing. Prime spot. Developers are salivating. I leaned in, voice husky with feigned frailty. It's urgent, Hank. Ethan's in deep, bad investments. I need it done fast before my daughter catches wind. His eyes narrowed, greedy. We can expedite. But signatures? She's on board. I lied, sliding over the forged prelims Mom had prepped. Deep down, the ethics nod, impersonating her to sabotage her. But betrayal's a mirror. It reflects what they deserve. By noon, offers flooded in, $450,000 from AgriCorp, lowballing the land value, $520,000 from Urban Edge, the strip mall vultures. I countered high, playing hardball in ways Mom never could, quoting comps from my legal memory, threatening liens if they dragged feet. Ethan called midday, my old phone buzzing. Ma, you talked to her yet? Athena's being a bitch about it. I smiled into the receiver, Mom's lips curving cruel.
Patience, son.
Mama's handling it. That night, back at the farm, tension crackled like a live wire. Athena, Mom, eyed me suspicious over pot roast, her fork hovering. You seem different, Mom. Energized. I met her gaze, my gaze, with steel. Just eager to help your brother, dear. Family first, right? Ethan shoveled food, oblivious, rambling about his app for farm-to-table NFTs. The serum's clock ticked, 48 hours left. I dosed myself with a trace from the vial, Mom's emergency stash, to extend the blur, buying time. Sleep was fitful, haunted by Dad's ghost in the oak's branches whispering, "Make it right, kid." Day 2 dawned muggy, thunder rumbling distant. I drove Evelyn's Cadillac to Wichita, meeting the Urban Edge execs in a glass tower overlooking the Arkansas River. Suited sharks, all teeth and ties, their boss, Victor Lang, a silver fox with a drawl like poisoned honey. Mrs. Hale, this parcel's gold. But your daughter's name on the deed, any pushback. I waved it off, channeling Mom's faux fragility. Oh, she'll come around. I've got leverage. Leverage. A discreet email from Athena's account, hacked via Mom's passwords, feigning consent but laced with red flags, tax evasion hints from Ethan's ledger. Controversial? Hell yes. Framing my own flesh and blood? But they'd framed Dad's death as stress, buried the truth to protect their empire of excuses. The deal accelerated. By evening, escrow was set, closing in 24 hours, $600,000 wired, with clauses gutting the barn for parking. Back home, Mom, in my body, paced the porch, phone glued to her ear, whispering to Ethan about contingencies. I eavesdropped from the shadows, her paranoia my fuel. The secret she'd chiseled into our lives, not just Dad's beating, but her role. The ledger detailed payoffs, but a photo tucked inside showed her laughing with a shark at a casino, arm linked like lovers. She'd orchestrated it, the debt, the lesson, all to control Dad's insurance payout. I'd borne the grief, the silence, thinking it random fate. Now, in her skin, I felt the weight lift, replaced by venom. Night fell heavy, fireflies winking like conspirators. Ethan crashed early, hungover. Mom cornered me in the kitchen. What's her game, Athena? I feel you in there, fighting it. Her eyes, my eyes, flashed fear. I gripped her wrist, nails digging. Game? This is checkmate, Evelyn. You wanted my life? Enjoy the hangover. She yanked free, serum antidote clutched like a crucifix. Reversal at dawn. Then you're done. Homeless, disgraced. But dawn was my deadline too. I slipped out to the barn, vial in hand, plotting the swap back. Not yet. One more move. Dawn broke bloody, the sun bleeding orange over the horizon like a fresh bruise on the prairie sky. I stood in the barn's loft, Evelyn's robe whipping in the wind through cracked slats, the antidote vial glinting in my palm. Mom's voice, my voice, echoed from the house. Athena, time's up. But I wasn't swapping back. Not until the ink dried on that deed. Controversial decision, too. I'd forced the reversal on my schedule, using the serum's side effect, nausea, blackouts, to keep her off balance. A drop under her tongue via spiked coffee, and she'd be foggy, compliant. Revenge wasn't just destruction. It was poetic justice, American style, turning their greed into a noose of their own tying. The drive to the closing was a funeral procession, my old Jeep rumbling behind Mom's Cadillac. She rode shotgun in my body, fidgeting, sweat beading on my forehead that wasn't mine. Ethan trailed in his F-150, blasting country rock about lost highways and bad choices, irony's cruelest playlist. Wichita's skyline pierced the flatlands like chrome teeth, the title company's office a sterile box of beige walls and notary stamps. Hank Whitaker waited, tie askew, papers fanned like a poker hand. Ladies, Mr. Hale, let's make this official. The conference room hummed with AC chill, fluorescent hum underscoring the farce. I sat at the head, Evelyn radiating false poise, while Mom, trapped in my skin, signed with a hand that shook just enough to sell the act. To helping my son, she murmured, eyes locking mine in silent war. Ethan grinned, oblivious, already mentally flooring the $600,000 on Vegas odds or whatever scam next. Victor Lang from Urban Edge loomed via Zoom, pixelated smirk approving the wire transfer. Pleasure doing business, Hales. That land's future is bright, literally, with our LED billboards. My heart, Mom's heart, thudded erratic as the pen scratched. Betrayal's echo chamber. They'd sold my soul's home for a brother's folly, but I was the ghost in the machine, the deal closer who'd flipped the script. As signatures cycled, I slipped the spiked decoff to Mom. Steady your nerves, dear, watching her pupils dilate, confusion clouding my features. Hank notarized, oblivious, chattering comps and taxes. Ethan slapped my back, her back, too hard. Thanks, Ma. You're a saint.
Saint?
More like serpent. By 11 a.m., it was done. Keys handed off metaphorically, digital deed transferred, funds pending. We piled into cars, euphoria masking the undercurrent rot. Back at the farm, Ethan cracked beers on the porch swing, toasting new beginnings. Mom slumped in a wicker chair, my body slurring slightly from the serum haze. Athena.
We need to talk.
Alone. I nodded, leading her to the oak tree, its branches clawing the sky like arthritic fingers. What's there to say? You got what you wanted. Her whisper was venom. The serum's unstable. Longer swaps.
Damage.
Brains fry. A lie? Or truth buried with Voss's notes I'd found. Case files of swappers lost in limbo. Identities erased. The antagonist here wasn't just her. It was the power she'd wielded, matriarchal might laced with desperation, cunning as a fox in a henhouse. Dad's death? Her masterpiece, pinning the shark's rage on him to claim the policy, then gaslighting me into silence with family loyalty. I'd carried that corpse for years, the mistake of mercy, the crime of complicity. But power shifts like sand in a twister. Damage. I hissed, gripping her arm, my arm. Like the damage you did to Dad? I know, Evelyn. The ledger. The photo. You didn't just let it happen. You lit the fuse. Her eyes widened, genuine shock cracking the facade.
You. How?
The oak groaned in the breeze, leaves rustling secrets. In your skin, I saw everything.
And now?
The buyer's getting cold feet. Anonymous tip about liens from Dad's estate. Your payoffs to the shark? Surfacing in probate. Panic flickered, raw as an open wound. Ethan hollered from the porch. Ma.
Cease.
Lunch. She yanked free, staggering toward the house, serum fog lifting just enough for fury. Inside, over sandwiches, the call came, Hank, voice tinny. Evelyn complication. Buyers pulling out. Fraud allegations on the title. Ethan's face drained of color. Beer forgotten. What the hell? Mom shot me a glare, piecing it. The email I'd sent from her account at 3 a.m., Evelyn's confession to a DA contact, veiled but damning. Chaos erupted, plates clattering. Ethan lunged, accusing. You sabotaged it. For what? Spite. I stood calm in Mom's frame, voice steady. Spite? This is justice, little brother. You leached Dad dry through her, then me. The house was collateral for your nothing. Mom interjected, shrill. Enough. Athena, the antidote, now. But I held it back. The barn shadows calling. Controversial decision 3. Expose them publicly, drag the family rot into daylight, even if it torched my name too. A tweet from Evelyn's account. Hail family secrets. Murder for money? Midwest Mafia, with the photo attached. Viral potential in our small-town echo chamber. Afternoon bled into storm, rain lashing the windows like judgment. Ethan stormed out, tires spinning gravel toward his bookies. Mom cornered me in the attic, amid dusty trunks and the safe's cold steel. Give it back, she demanded, hands outstretched. The serum's toll showed, my body's pallor, her soul fraying at edges. Or what? You call the cops? My daughter stole my body. Laughter escaped, hollow. But beneath, the nod. The darkness of becoming them, the mirror's cruel reflection. I'd swapped to survive, but was I avenging Dad or just perpetuating the cycle? She lunged for the vial. We grappled, antique brooch scattering like shrapnel. You think you're better? She spat, breath hot. You killed him too. By digging, by not letting go. The twist of it, her delusion, rewriting history where I was the villain for truth-seeking. I pinned her, me, against the beams, antidote shattering on floorboards.
No reversal.
We ride this out. Her scream echoed, cut short by thunder. Dusk fell, power flickering. Ethan returned, soaked, eyes wild. Cops are coming. That tweet, Ma. What the fuck? The secret unraveled live on local news. chopper whirring over the farm as reporters swarmed. Hail estate scandal, forgery, fraud, and a father's mysterious death. Neighbors gawked from pickups, the American pastime of schadenfreude in full swing. Inside, Mom collapsed, my body convulsing as serum backlash hit. Voss's warning realized. Neural bleed, memories merging like oil and water. I knelt, horror dawning. Evelyn. No answer, just Slack features. Ethan burst in, phone blaring sirens. Athena.
She's.
Oh God. But it was her in there, trapped, fading. The betrayal reversed. I'd pushed too far, the revenge a pyrrhic blaze. As blue lights flashed the windows, I felt the pull, the swap destabilizing, souls straining like frayed wires. Wait, I whispered to the storm. Not yet. Night deepened, tension coiling tighter than a hangman's knot. Paramedics breached the door, Ethan babbling incoherently. They strapped me to a gurney, IVs snaking, while I, Evelyn Shell, watched from the sidelines, anonymous in the chaos. The hospital in Emporia was a fluorescent purgatory, beeps and bleach assaulting senses. Doctors poked, prodded. Coma-like state. Unknown toxin. Ethan paced the hall, whispering to lawyers about contesting the will anew, his cunning surfacing, blame the crazy sister. Inherit it all. But I had one card left. The barn vial, shards recoverable. Slipping out under cover of midnight rain, I scavenged the attic, piecing antidote crystals like a mad alchemist. Back in her room, monitors wailing softly, I dosed her for, hers, mine, ours. Agony ripped through, a psychic tear as souls wrenched apart. Vision doubled, bodies convulsing in tandem. When it cleared, I was me again, gasping in hospital sheets, Mom slumped in the visitor chair, her form stirring groggy.
You.
Bitch, she croaked, recognition dawning. Ethan burst in, eyes darting. What happened? The doc said. I sat up, voice mine raw. Truth happened. The house? It's mine still. Deal voided by fraud. And Dad? The shark's testifying tomorrow. Your empire's dust. Her face crumpled, not defeat but something uglier. Regret laced with rage. We did it for you too, Athena. To keep the family whole. Lies the final gasp. But the twist loomed, unspoken. In the swap, I'd glimpsed her core. A scared girl from Dust Bowl stock, chasing the American dream through any grift. Was she monster or mirror? Morning light filtered through hospital blinds like a reluctant confessor, casting striped shadows on the linoleum floor. I lay there, body reclaimed but battered, every muscle screaming from the serum's ghost. Mom sat across, fore-dripped and hollow-eyed, her silver bob askew, the Botox cracks showing like fault lines in a dam. Ethan hovered by the door, phone in hand, scrolling damage control, news alerts pinging. Hale family implodes, estate sales scandal ties to cold case beating. The world outside buzzed, our private hell gone viral, the Midwest's morbid fascination with fallen pillars of the community. You swapped us, she said finally, voice a rasp. No accusation, just fact, heavy as the oxygen mask dangling nearby. I met her gaze, unflinching. You started it. For him. Ethan flinched, but his retort was canned. This is bullshit, ADH. We were saving the farm, from you. Hoarding it like some spinster fortress. Classic deflection, the Golden Boys playbook. But the power dynamic had inverted. I held the deeds now, literal and figurative. The DA's office had called at dawn. Tip followed up, shark flipping for immunity. Dad's heart attack was homicide by proxy. Mom's death's the motive. Charges pending. Conspiracy, fraud, the works. The controversial decisions piled like indictments. Exposing them? It had branded me the vengeful harpy in tabloid sketches, daughter's dark revenge. Body snatch or breakdown? Online forums lit up, Reddit threads debating if I'd gaslit her into dementia, TikToks recreating the swap, with filters and bad accents. Tension simmered in the room, the air thick with unspoken what-ifs. What if I'd let the sale go through? pocketed a cut, played the dutiful daughter. What if forgiveness was the real swap, trading hate for hollow peace? But Dad's ghost lingered in the beeps, demanding reckoning. Discharge came midday, a bureaucratic mercy. Ethan drove us back in silence, wipers slapping rain-slicked windshield, the farm emerging like a battered survivor. Reporters camped the gate, mics thrusting like bayonets. "Mrs. Hale, did your daughter poison you?" Mom waved them off weakly, but I paused, camera flashes popping.
No poison.
Just truth. Ask her about 1998. The mic drop, controversial as hell, airing dirty laundry in prime time, dooming any plea deal. Ethan's glare in the rearview scorched. "You're ruining us."
Us.
I shot back. "You ruined Dad." Home was a siege zone, porch swing creaking empty. Inside, the kitchen table bore ghosts of that dinner, wine stains like blood accusations. Mom collapsed into her armchair, summoning strength for the antagonist's last stand. The serum. Boss gave it for love, not this. Flashback in her eyes. 87, her at 40, desperate to you then for Dad's wandering gaze, swapping with a starlet for a weekend tryst that backfired into regret. The hidden secret. She'd kept it not for greed, but to one day fix Ethan. Dose him young for a do-over.
Me?
Collateral. The strong one who wouldn't break. But Mumu's schemes crumble under scrutiny. Fix him? By killing for cash. I pressed, pulling the ledger from my bag, photocopied, DA-bound. Her laugh was bitter, a cough. "You think you're clean? That house, you bought it to spite me. Bury Dad's memory in your solitude."
Touché.
The farm was my fortress, yes, walled against their chaos, but also a shrine to isolation. Dates swiped left on apps fearing their echo. The betrayal cut bidirectional, a Mobius strip of hurt. Ethan exploded then, slamming fists. "Enough. I'm selling my share. Sue me." But shares? He'd pawned as long ago for poker debts. The real power play. I'd filed a quiet injunction overnight for my phone in the ER, freezing assets. The house stood firm, mine by Dad's will, unencumbered now that the deal vaporized. He stormed out, tires churning mud, off to some motel confab with lawyers who'd bleed him dry. Left alone, Mom and I circled like duelists in the dim parlor, family photos leering from walls, Dad's grin frozen in 95, pre-beating innocence. "Tell me why," I demanded, voice cracking despite resolve.
The shark.
The debts. Tears tracked her cheeks, mascara rivers.
He was leaving.
Insurance was our parachute. Kansas ain't kind to divorcees. The twist inverted. Not malice pure, but survival's savage math, the American underbelly, where dreams default to nightmares. She'd hired the shark as intimidation, a bluff gone lethal when Dad fought back. Pinned on him, the policy cashed, Ethan saved from juvenile hall, his own thefts, me shielded from poverty. The crime I'd borne? Her mistake, gussied as maternal sacrifice. "I carried it for you," she whispered. "So, you wouldn't hate me." Hate her? The word hung a lit fuse. In the swap, I'd tasted her terror. The night's pacing, vial clutched, weighing dosing Ethan versus letting him rot. Power's illusion. She'd wielded it like a blunt club, but it chained her too. My revenge? A mirror smash, shards embedding all. Controversial climax brewed as sirens wailed distant. Cops for her, finally. I could have bolted, torched evidence, vanished to the city. Instead, I stayed, dialing my own lawyer. Full confession. No deals. Uniforms breached at dusk, cuffs clicking soft on her wrists. "Athena," she pleaded, led away. Ethan returned mid-arrest, howling betrayal, but the fight drained from him like air from a punctured tire. "What now?" he muttered, deflated. I handed him the bus ticket to Wichita Rehab Center, my dime, one last thread of blood.
Fix yourself.
Or don't, but stay gone. He nodded, broken, the golden boy tarnished to lead. Alone in the farmhouse, night cloaking the acres, I wandered the oak, rain easing to mist. The house was safe, mine, but victory tasted ash. Dad's grave under the hill whispered absolution, or accusation. The ending teetered, happy in solitude's reclaim, or tragic in the void left by their wreckage. Readers would argue, villain or victim, enabler or avenger. I lit a cigarette, bad habit from Mom's muscle memory, exhaling smoke into stars. The swing creaked invitation. I sat, rocking slow, the serum's echo fading. Months blurred, trial in Topeka, Mom's plea bargain to manslaughter, 5 years in County Gray. Ethan dried out, sporadic calls turning civil, a job in Omaha hauling freight.
Me?
The farm thrived, turned Airbnb for city escapees. Irony's wink, profiting from the past. But nights, the vanity mirror mocked, reflecting not just Athena, but Evelyn's ghost, her fears, her flaws woven in. The deep betrayal? Forgiven?
No.
Understood, maybe. The secret unearthed, crime atoned in courts and conscience. Yet the twist lingered, that final reversal. In her body, I'd glimpsed not just rot, but roots, the Dust Bowl grit that birthed her cunning, the 50s housewife trap that honed her schemes. Was revenge the American way, bootstraps laced with buckshot? Or just another swap, trading one prison for another? I poured wine untampered on the porch, toasting the oak. To family, whatever the hell that means. Thunder rumbled approval, or warning. The heartland held its breath, debate eternal.